Shift, a clone of Miles Morales, was born out of the Assessor's experiments, which aimed to harness and replicate Spider-Man's powers. Among these clones, Shift was deemed a failure due to his unstable, amorphous form, a flaw that would later become central to his identity. Despite his perceived imperfections, the Assessor discovered a way to exploit these very flaws. Shift and his brothers managed to escape the Assessor's clutches, but their freedom came at a cost. As clones, their existence was precarious, and their bodies were deteriorating. In a desperate attempt to survive, they kidnapped a scientist and robbed a warehouse to create a cure that could stabilize their rapidly failing form. While investigating crimes committed by someone posing as Spider-Man, the original Miles Morales and Peter Parker crossed paths with Shift on a rooftop. In a chaotic battle, Shift was defeated but rescued by Selim and Mind Spinner, who joined the fray. Despite a warning from Selim, Miles refused to back down, leading to a confrontation that left both Spider-Men fainting. This marked the beginning of a complicated relationship between Shift and his genetic template. Miles, still unaware of the true nature of Shift and his brothers, broke into their hideout and destroyed the cure they were developing. Believing it to be a formula for creating more clones, he acted out of fear and misunderstanding. When Shift and his brothers discovered what had happened, they reacted violently, brutally beating Miles and webbing him up. Despite this, Shift, unlike his brothers, began to show signs of empathy, a glimmer of hope that set him apart from the others. Shift's empathy towards Miles was further demonstrated when Selim and Mind Spinner left him alone to guard their captive while they went to kill Miles' mother. Recognizing the bond he shared with Miles as a clone, Shift allowed Miles to escape. In a dramatic turn of events, Selim kidnapped his infant sister, Billy, and took her to the Brooklyn Bridge, intending to use her as a pawn to prove his superiority over Miles. Shift, however, intervened, rescuing Billy from the clutches of his fellow clone. The ensuing battle between Shift and Selim was intense, but it was ultimately Mind Spinner who saved Shift, sacrificing himself in an explosion that claimed both his and Selim's lives. Following the events on the bridge, Shift ran away, likely out of fear of facing the rest of the Morales family. He took refuge in the sewers beneath the Brooklyn Visions Academy, where he was eventually found by Miles. When they reconnected, Shift was introduced to Gang, who helped examine his condition. It was then discovered that Shift's cells had stabilized, likely due to Billy's sneeze on the bridge, which may have caused his body to produce antibodies that ultimately cured him. Shift's powers are as unique as his origins. His unstable form allows him to expand, contract, and stretch his mass to unknown limits, growing multiple limbs and even changing his appearance to that of a monstrous creature. He can also increase his size and mass density, which enhances his strength. Additionally, Shift can secrete a multicolored gas that functions as spray paint and produce his own silk webbing from glands in his forearms. One of the most significant challenges Shift faces is his inability to communicate properly due to his flawed cloning process. Unlike his brothers, Shift struggles to form proper sentences, making it difficult for him to express his thoughts and emotions. However, with the help of Kamala Khan, Shift has begun to develop the ability to speak, albeit imperfectly.